I just finished a 10-day cruise in the Baltics, solo, for the very first time. Let me tell you about it. I've worked in this town for over 20 years. It's actually been a great job. Until that happened. So my bags are packed. I'm off to rediscover places I've seen before, to explore new places I've never been, and to find me again. The NCL Solo Meetup Group. It didn't meet my expectations. Look, this is the very first time I've attended a cruise as a solo adventurer, and it was my very first time going to a solo meetup group. But it wasn't quite what I had expected based on what I had read online. The group didn't meet up in any particular place that was exclusive to the group. There was no solo lounge on the NCL Dawn, so we met up in public places. And that may have contributed to the feeling that it wasn't quite an exclusive kind of like little group meetup. Other people were walking by and they were inquisitive and they were asking questions about what the group was about, and they were trying to join in with the group. That was a little cumbersome. Also, the people just weren't my vibe. They weren't my kind of people, and I didn't gel with any of them, so I didn't want to hang out with them. I would much rather go out on my own, which is what I did. I did attend more than one meeting, thinking maybe I should give it a second chance. And again, on the second meeting, I had the same feelings that it just wasn't my kind of people. Now, that wasn't to say that I wasn't friendly to them and met up with them at other points on the cruise. I just didn't hang out with them. I did have coffee a couple of times with a couple of the people from the solo group, but I didn't participate in their activities. That's okay if you choose not to. It's okay if you choose to hang out with them sometimes and not all the time. I was really comfortable with my choice. I hope you will be too. I'm from New York. I move. I don't hesitate. I don't sit around. So, as a solo cruiser, what I often did is either lag way behind the group so that I could get video of my own, or pop my head into a store of my own, or check out things on my own, and then I would catch up to the group. Except for one time I did get lost, and I did miss the bus. They found me, or I should say I found them. That's another story. We'll talk about that a little later on. So just be prepared to know that it's a slower, easy pace if you're doing the Baltics. The LGBT, I'm gay. I should really know what these little symbols are, or what the alphabet means. Anyway, the meetup, the LGBTQ meetup, it was non-existent. I went to the very first meeting. I was the only guy there. I waited a day and went to another meeting. I was the only guy there. I know there were other gay folks on the cruise because I saw them, and later on in the itinerary, I had met up with some of them and had drinks with them. But it wasn't that kind of itinerary, and I think that you have to think about that when you're going on these cruises. Some of them, like the Bahamas, the Caribbean, Mexican Riviera, they're party ships. And these groups tend to want to meet up because they want to party. On a Baltic cruise, not so much. It's family. It's groups of friends who are already traveling together. They're not quite so inclusive. Not that they're exclusive, but they don't really bring you in. They're nice. They say hi to you. But if you're sitting there and having a drink, they're probably not going to ask you to join them. If they're at dinner and they see that you're at dinner, they're not going to ask you to join them. As a matter of fact, at one point, I was sitting along the river at one of the cities we were in, having a beer. And a group of gay guys was sitting next to me. They came in after me. They didn't ask me to come and sit with them. They said hello. They were nice, but they went about their own business. That too is okay. It's their cruise. It's their itinerary. You got to be okay with these things. And I've learned as a solo cruiser, a solo traveler, expect the unexpected, deal with the unexpected, and be okay with it. It was low energy. I mean low energy. I'd been on plenty of cruises, lots to the Mexican Riviera, Bahamas, Caribbean. Those are party ships. Those are high energy ships. People are just amped up. They're there to have a good time from the moment they start embarkation all the way through. Not so much on a Baltic cruise. Think about that if you're going on a solo adventure. What do you want out of it? Do I want party? Do I want down and quiet time? A Baltic cruise, down and quiet time. I had a lot of time to myself. I was okay with that. I made good use of that. Were there lonely times? Yeah, there were a few lonely moments. But I also had great moments of self discovery. Let's put it that way. It was awesome sometimes to be standing on the balcony of my stateroom and see the world going by, ships going by, places I've never seen, I will never get to see again. And just knowing that I was experiencing that, it was awesome. There were really great moments, and you can have great moments alone. Don't be afraid of that. Embrace that. Let's talk about cruising the Baltics. First, I was on the NCL Dawn, a slightly older ship, smaller ship. I think it holds about 2,200 passengers. A little dated, but it did what it needed to do for this cruise, and I was not unhappy with the ship itself. The ports are amazing. One of the best things about doing a Baltic cruise, especially solo, every day is a new port. Every day is a new discovery. Every day is a chance to get out there and meet new people and experience new things, and it never gets boring. I love that part of a Baltic cruise. Bear this in mind though, when you're doing a Baltic cruise, it's an older crowd. Kind of like this, older crowd. It's slower moving. It's less energy. The elevators are cramped. No one takes the stairs, except for people like me, even for one level. Going up one floor, it's still cram into the elevator. So be prepared for that. It's slow moving in the hallways. It's slow moving at the buffet. It's slow moving on and off the buses. I wasn't prepared for that. How about the seas and the weather? The seas are calm. The Baltics is like an interior sea. So it was pretty calm. Even one day we had what they would call a rough sea, but it wasn't rough at all. I didn't have any problems with it. Now, I should say, I don't have problems with rough waters. I sailed through the Drake Passage with no issues whatsoever. The Drake Passage, by the way, is how you get to Antarctica. I had no problems whatsoever. So, given that, I found the seas really calm and really easygoing. Weather, I went in the middle of June, and the weather was mild. You still need a hoodie or you still need a jacket, and it was misty quite often. Last couple of days, really sunny, really bright. T-shirt kind of weather, sunglasses came out, hoodies came off. So be prepared for a lot of changing weather in one day, by the way. From the time you dock to the time you get back on the ship, changes of weather. Restaurants and shows, easy to get into. No lines. Well, except for like the main dining rooms, also called MDRs. The main dining rooms at early seatings, lines all the way up to the elevators and maybe beyond. I don't know, I didn't go to them. But at that time, I went later on. The early birds still show up for an early bird dinner, even on the cruise ship. Specialty dining rooms, no problem getting in anytime. Reservations were readily available. Buffet, long lines to get in, but what was most annoying is that everyone's kind of slow moving in the buffet too, and they hover over food and don't really make a choice. And there were a lot of people in those little go-kart things, trying to maneuver around a buffet, and why they do that is beyond me. Just stay parked at the damn table and send your friends over to get your food for you, because that little go-kart thing takes up so much room. So I got annoyed at the buffet, and I kind of just scooted around people. But be prepared for that, like getting annoyed. That's going to happen. Shows, entertainment. It was on board. It was not really good. No, really, it was not really good. The shows were amateurish. These were the main theater shows, Elements and something else. They're no longer high quality Broadway style shows. I think NCL is just like mass producing a similar show over all of their ships so that they use the same choreography, the same costumes, the same music, and they're okay. They pass the time. And look, that's great. I went in there, I had a couple of drinks, I watched the show. Was I amazed by it? Not at all. But it killed some time, kept me out of the casino for a little while. That was a good thing. But don't expect an extravaganza. It was all right. Getting seats, no problem. But bear in mind, again, it's a slower moving crowd. They tend to sit in the first 2 or 3 seats available, and they kind of hover and figure out where they want to sit. And if they don't like those seats, they're going to try to move somewhere else. And they also hover around the exits just in case they want to leave early. I don't get it all, but be prepared. It's a little annoying. Well, maybe you're one of those people. So you're annoying. We'll get over you. So the pools are open on the Baltic cruise. They're heated. Not many people use them. The few families that were on board did use them, and the kids were in them. I did see a few adults in the pools also, but not many. There are plenty of lounge chairs available, and on those sunny days, people were in them, but they're not like a Caribbean cruise or anything like that. They're not packed. People are not getting up early in the morning to try to save a chair and then guard it all day long as though they bought a timeshare and they're going to keep that chair for the rest of the day. Not at all. They were easy to get. Hot tubs, that's another story. People love the hot tubs, and they kind of camped out in them. I saw the same people in them every single day over and over and over again. There are plenty of hot tubs available too, and sometimes there's like a couple in it, and you don't really feel comfortable like just invading their space because they were having like a couple's moment. And the one time I did anticipate or did think about going into a hot tub in the front of the ship, there was a couple in it, and I was like, all right, I'm not gonna go and ruin their couple's moment, so I didn't go in the hot tub. No big deal. I'm not really all that much of a hot tub person. I was just gonna do it anyway. But the hot tubs are full. Pools are open, chairs are open, easy to get into on a Baltic cruise. So my overall experience as a first-time solo traveler on a Baltic cruise was awesome. No matter what I've just said, whatever I think that was kind of like a con against it, it was amazing. I would do it again in a heartbeat. I loved Tallinn. I loved Riga. I loved Gdansk. There are places I didn't think I would like that were freaking awesome. And the people were amazing. The food on board was fine. The entertainment was great. The lounge entertainment, not the big theater entertainment. The whole itinerary is so cool because every day you're somewhere else. If you're going to do a solo cruise, maybe reconsider one that's not a party solo cruise and think about one that's more adventurous, more self-discovery, like a Baltic cruise. I'm off to Canada next, another maybe self-discovery cruise. And then after that, I have a couple others lined up that are more party cruises. So we'll talk about those later. We'll talk to you soon.
Today